Good morning and welcome to the Knox County Schools Career Expo. This morning we're going to bring you a session focused in on high school CTE, and we'll be learning more about the Architecture, Engineering, and Design program at South Doyle High School. Joining us will be Jeff Bryant, the instructor for the class at South Doyle High School, his partner, Kara Knapp, who is a principal architect with OYSK 3 Architects, and then his student, Mason Chandler. All of them will be giving us their view about the CTE program there at South Doyle, and then also why it's important to them personally. So without further ado, let's get started and talk with Mr. Bryant. Good morning, Jeff.
Good morning. How are you?
So one of the cool things about CTE, as far as I'm concerned, is that when you go to a CTE classroom, it's very likely you're going to be working with a teacher who probably has worked in some other field or industry. And Jeff, that's true for you. Will you start off by telling us a little bit about your background and what you did before you got into teaching?
Absolutely. I came from college to be a civil engineer, and to be more specifically, I went to University of Tennessee after Tennessee Tech, so I can become a structural engineer. Got a little bit of PA system going on right now, but I ended up getting my master's degree in structural engineering. And so I wanted to be an engineer and design buildings and do things like that. And so I worked in the field for about 3 years, got a lot of valuable experience in the field. And so then once I decided, I was old and I said, I want to change my major again. And so I said, I want to actually do some teaching in high school, maybe coach a little football. And so I found a place in South Doyle High School. They said, hey, come on, we'll take you. You can be our architectural engineering design teacher. And so I just came straight from the industry into the classroom.
That's had to be an interesting change for you. So tell me a little bit about the types of classes that you teach, and then what should students expect to learn if they take architectural engineering and design?
Well, the classes I teach is the architectural and engineering design, and what we do is we try to teach you guys how to, you don't really need to know anything to come into these CTE classes, and CTE classes in general are just phenomenal classes. There's a lot of value in these classes. My class in particular, we will learn more things about like how to draw a house plan, how to engineer things, how to design things. But it's much more than that, because we also want to do things to where you guys not only design the ideas, but you also create them. And we want you to kind of take you through the process and teach you guys how to not just crunch numbers all the time, but actually use your hands and figure out how to sketch something and bring it to life in a real project. So not only do we want to just really walk you through that process, all CTE classes are so valuable in just kind of doing a hands-on experience. And that, we really learn a lot when we put our hands to it. And I tell people all the time, I can teach you all day long how to ride a bicycle, just telling you, put your feet on the pedals, things like that. But until you actually get on it and try it, you may not ever learn. And so we really the CTE classes really try to put the value into hands-on experience.
That's a very important point to make as we think about CTE classes. For a student who really is motivated by hands-on learning, those are classrooms where they really can expect to get in there and really do some work outside of the paper and pencil that they might do in other classes. So when you think about your classes and your students, what are some of the projects that are common for students to do in your class?
Well, listen, we really tried to make this. A lot of CTE teachers try to focus it on the students, and so we really want each class to kind of pick what you do. And so some of the things we've done in my class is we'll do bridge designs, and so we'll have different bridges. I'll let you guys sketch a bridge up, then we'll draw it on computer. We use AutoCAD in my class, and then I'll let you build it. And so we'll have a balsa-wood bridge competition. And so we'll do a lot of different things with balsa wood. We've done, towers, cranes, catapults. One of the favorite things I do in here, we actually do aerodynamics in engineering. We do airplanes. And so we'll take we'll let you design an airplane, and we'll go put these things together. After you design it, you make it, and we'll take it to the football field and see who can fly it the furthest to the football field. And so we'll go up on top of the bleachers throwing airplanes and things like that. I'd like to show a quick slide of a couple of things we do in addition to that hopefully I can show you here. So we also here in at Southdale High School, we have a metal signs business. And so what we do is we actually draw things on the computer, and then we take it to the welding shop and we'll cut it out on a torch. And you guys actually get to go to the welding shop to see how this thing gets cut out. And so we'll have people running the machines. We've also had this thing has absolutely just grown immensely, and we started putting it on Facebook a little bit. Well, before we knew it, the mayor of South Knoxville came in and said, "Hey, can you design us a county key?" And so he came in and asked we do. So we did a classroom challenge: who could draw the best key. This young man right here won the challenge, and so now we give out county keys to dignitaries who come into Knox County just for Mayor Jacobs. And so he came in and got a sign, and we made him some signs. We had the vice mayor of Kingston come in. Said, "Hey, can you make us a sign for City of Kingston?" So we want to do the 12 days of Christmas. And so the students got to work and started drawing the 12 days of Christmas. And so we've got to, we're in the City of Kingston now with every Christmas, they're going to put the 12 days of Christmas up. We got to get on TV. I take kids to the TV. We get interviewed for this. And that way they can, share what we're doing at South Doyle. Another great program we have is the ACE Mentor Program. We have a architect, construction, engineering mentor program. So we have professionals come in from the outside to tell you exactly what's going on in the real world. This is so valuable experience because now you're actually getting to see what's really going on and getting taught from somebody who's actually in the field. And so we'll have a bunch of people come in the classroom and kind of teach you hands-on experiences. We'll take you on field trips. We want to take you to actually see what's going on, and that way you can learn by not only just hearing about it in the classroom, working on it in the classroom, but you get to step outside the classroom and go see what other people are doing current projects in Knoxville. And so you'll get to talk to actual professionals in the field. They'll take you into the workroom and show you exactly what's going on. We'll also we've taken people to UT and talked to students at UT and in a College of Architecture program. These are high school students talking with college students about what they're doing and what they're learning. One thing we did just recently, I had a student on a Zoom call with the Dean of Architecture. He's the Dean of Architecture at UT. And so I'm able to get them in front of people that are valuable, that will help you further your education, further your career. And so we have a lot of different things there that we can do in the classroom, and not just my classroom. It's all of CTE. And we have such valuable experience because we've come in from the field and we actually know people in the industry that we can put you in front of. Another great thing that our school does and that the whole Knox County does is that we have a job fair, and then we put you in front of people that want to give you a job. And so we take a group of students to about 50 or 60 booths at a convention center, and you get to go around and talk to each person. And we've actually had students that go there and they interview and get a job that same day at the job fair. So I know we all want to try to make some money, and it's all about these days how much money you can make for a lot of people, but it's also about how to save money. And so we teach you skills that teach you how to save money. You can work on your own car. You can do things at your own house. You don't have to pay somebody else to do that. So it's not just about making money, it's also about saving money. So we do a lot of things here at the program and teach you projects and life skills that you don't necessarily learn in English class or math class or science class. We teach you stuff that are valuable that you'll be able to take forward with you in your future.
Jeff, I like several of the things you pointed out there. I think one great example with the sign business that you guys are doing is you mentioned that your class not only gives kids that opportunity to do the design element, maybe on the computer or the drawing, the sketching, but it actually ends up in a finished product. And you guys have turned that into a business that helps sort of sustain and build your program there at South Doyle High School by working closely together with our welding teacher there at the building. You guys have been able to bring your kids together to work on those kind of collaborative projects. And I think, again, that's an important skill for us to learn while we're in high school, is how to collaborate and how to work together as a team. And then you mentioned the ACE Mentor program, and like many other CTE programs that we have across the district, it's sort of those additional clubs sometimes, those additional things that get added on to the CTE program that might build that bridge to the university or to a partner that really is impactful and it's you end up building a relationship with that down the road might turn into a job or a next step for you in terms of your education and training. So I think the ACE work has been really great. Obviously, we're going to hear from Kara in a minute, and she's been a big part of that with your school, I know. So very good. So one of the things you mentioned in there about the sign business, you talked about AutoCAD, and I wanted to hear a little bit about kind of how does AutoCAD, or how does an industry certification opportunity exist in your class? Because for CTE programs, that's one of the things that we like to have students exposed to, are those industry credentials that might give them some college credit at the next level, or like you pointed out, sometimes it might be something that helps you get a job because you've got a knowledge base or a skill set that you can use that maybe someone else doesn't have. So will you talk a little bit about what you have students practice with and what they can do in your class?
Absolutely. As an eighth grader, you're coming in, and maybe you're not thinking about a job right now. But let me tell you what CTE does for you. CTE has so many valuable, I've got top of the line computers in my class right now. I'm able to use AutoCAD. AutoCAD is a really expensive program, and CTE allows me to get the latest and greatest of all the equipment. And so we have AutoCAD 2021, and a lot of businesses don't even use AutoCAD 2021. They're still using 18 and 19 and things like that. And so they eventually will turn to 2021. And so in my class, we use AutoCAD 2021, and you already have experience on it. And so CTE in Knoxville has a lot of valuable equipment, and you're being trained on not the old stuff, but a lot of the new stuff. And so you guys get some really valuable experience there. For my class, we have an industry certification, and what that allows you to do is you actually take a test in the classroom on the computer, and you'll have to do questions on the various of AutoCAD 2021. And so when we actually did some certifications the other day, certification test, and every student that took it passed it. And so that we pride ourselves as teachers on getting you guys prepared to pass these tests. So don't worry about the test itself. What that does for you, you can put that on a resume, and you can put that on anything you go forward in life on. Even if you're not going to do architecture and engineering, you've got an AutoCAD industry certification. That tells somebody, hey, look, they spent some time, they worked on a test, and this is a pretty prestigious test. The certifications are prestigious, and so not only does that give you a leg up, and when you go to apply for a job, that gives you a chance to say, look, here's something special I've done. You get special recognition at graduation, and you get special recognition on your resume. So it's such a valuable experience to have an industry certification.
That's great, Jeff. I'm glad to hear that your students are being successful, and that says a lot about the preparation that you're putting into getting them ready to sit for those exams. So next, when you're thinking about students who might be interested in this subject, in architectural design, what are some of the careers that they might pursue after graduation? And then what type of training would they need to maybe think about after graduation that would help prepare them for that?
Absolutely. It's such a prestigious field. It really is. Architecture, engineering, and things like that. You'll after graduation, you'll need to go to college and you get a degree in architecture and engineering. Great thing about that is through my classroom, we have a relationship with the University of Tennessee. And so it's not just them. We know other people too. And all the CTE, has ways that, like on ramps we call them, that you can get to where you want to go. For us, we have a great relationship with the University of Tennessee architectural program. Like I said, I had the dean of architecture on a Zoom call with a student who's going to be she's already been admitted now to the University of Tennessee in architecture. And so we can go to school for architecture, go to school for engineering. Engineering is such a broad field these days. You can do so many things like civil, environmental, mechanical. There's so many different things that require engineering. It's not just putting machines together. You're also talking about surveying. You're also talking about land, road development, things like. There's all kinds of things you could do engineering wise, but it will require you some extra schooling. But we what we try to do here is when you take our classes, when you take my class, hopefully my class will give you an easy on ramp to what you want to do in engineering and architecture. We're preparing you for those courses. So we've all taken those college courses. We know what's expected, and so we're preparing you. So it's a smooth transition into the college world for those classes. You can be an architect, engineer, We're bringing in people from industry into the classroom to talk to you. You'll get to know them, and that way you'll be able to, hey, I know that person. You'll be able to send that resume and call that person, talk to them, and you'll have a connection there. And that connection is so valuable because it's really these days, to be completely honest, it's all about who you know. And so when you know these people and you've met these people, you have a better chance of getting a job from these people.
That's certainly correct, Mr. Bryan. We've already had some students pop in and ask some questions about, what the highest paying job in these fields would be, or what are some of the jobs you could get if you took this class. I think you made some great points there. Whether you're interested in design or you're interested in architecture or engineering, which is a very diverse field. The depending on the area and the field you go into, depending on how much education you pursue, all of those things would weigh into sort of how much money would be potentially on the table for you, what those jobs would pay. And engineering is one of those fields, especially where, a student who thinks they want to be an engineer needs to dig a little bit deeper and really start to look at the different types, whether that's civil or mechanical or electrical, industrial. There's all types of engineering and each of them is very different than the other. So it's worth kind of digging in and spending some time exploring further if you think engineering is something that you'd be interested in. Really appreciate your time. We're going to shift gears now and talk and hear from Kara Knapp, who is the principal architect with OYSK 3 Architects, and is an important partner with Mr. Bryant's class. As he mentioned before, the ACE Mentor Program and the work that his class does with the University of Tennessee College of Architecture, an important mentor for that classroom and for those students over the past couple of years now has been Ms. Knapp. So, Ms. Knapp, if you don't mind, would you tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do for a living?
Sure. So it is Kara Knapp. I am the K in OYSK3, so I'm one of the partners in the company. What I do for a living, in the most basic sense, is solve problems, and that's architecture. So we do commercial and residential architecture. So I meet with clients and help make their wants and wishes come true through the building they're trying to do. So we create space. It could be for restaurants. We've worked with storage facilities, senior care facilities. So like I said, on a daily basis, I am solving problems, meeting people, and figuring out how our company can help them with their building and construction needs. I can connect them to builders if they need them. We can connect them to engineers. So I'm strictly on the architecture side. I don't do structural engineering. I don't do the mechanical, plumbing, or electrical engineering. But I'm like a team leader for my client, putting all the people in place to help their project come together.
Great. You're mentioning some of those same skills as even as working as the architect, you're still having to collaborate and work with people in different fields to make sure that the design and that the job gets carried out according to the expectations that you guys put together. So how did you get into this career field?
So I actually, in 7th grade, told my guidance counselor I was going to be an architect. And at that point in time, said I was going to go to the University of Virginia. Then in high school, I actually decided mechanical engineering, and mechanical more for actually designing car engines, not HVAC mechanical, but actual engine design. I really love cars and wanted to do engine design. So I had a 1 year at a vocational program doing mechanical drafting, and realized I don't care about screws and pitches and bolts and all that mechanical stuff. It just didn't really sparked my interest. And so I decided to go back to architecture and figured architecture was kind of the best of both worlds. Had a little bit of engineering to it, had creativity to it, and that's really what my passion was. So in high school, I did decide to go back to architecture and really enjoy it. And, I mentioned as an architect, like in the previous question, our architectural exam has all the trades on it. I have to know structure. I have to know some mechanical, plumbing, and electrical. I joke, I know enough to be dangerous because we are the lead of a project. So we have to have a knowledge to a certain extent of all of it because we do pull it together. So you could say for most of my life, I've really wanted to be an architect.
Thank you for that. Again, making those decisions early on and then doing some exploration to figure out what was a good fit for you. I think, again, that's kind of the spirit of what we're trying to do this week here with the Career Expo. So As an architect, as a professional, what made you decide to give your time and to connect with this high school CTE class that you do there at South Dole High School?
So it was an easy yes. I have a strong personal connection to the school. It's actually where my husband used to teach when we met back in 2003. He coached football with Coach Bryant. So it was an easy yes to collaborate with Jeff Bryant in this program. And I just have a passion to share what I do with others. And especially, I'll say, as a female in the industry, I feel like, I have a unique ability to show that, a young lady that might be thinking about architecture, anything in the construction industry, if I can be any kind of resource or someone to give them some insight to help encourage them to do it. Because honestly, when I said I wanted to do the vocational program in high school, my guidance counselor in high school was not a big fan of that. So I had to fight to do mechanical drafting. And I feel I don't want any girl or young lady to have that same feeling and be discouraged to do something, because it could be a passion of theirs. It may not be their career choice, but it might be, they enjoy doing welding. So go do a welding class in high school because you can. So just to be a resource for the students, to be a resource for Mr. Bryant, professional resource of sorts. And I want to be a reference for them if there's questions they have, if there's someone in the industry they want to meet. I want to help pull other professionals into the classroom that might have the same passion I do. We want to just share what we do and see if it sparks an interest in a young individual. And I joke, it can help them, like for me, decide I don't want to be a mechanical engineer. And it can also help them decide, do they want to be a mechanical engineer or do they want to go into the trades? So they may not necessarily enjoy the design aspect of it, but they enjoy the building aspect of it. So both of those, back to one of the students' questions, the trades are a very viable career choice and pay well if you have the certifications and some of the background. You can work your way up professionally as a licensed individual or in the field as a tradesman, making this all come to life. I mean, I draw buildings, but then the builders get to make it happen and bring it to life. So to answer the original question, it's just a personal and professional passion to help young individuals decide what direction they want to go.
Well, Ms. Knapp, we can't thank you enough for using that passion to influence our students. And we certainly, from the CT department level, want to thank you for what you've done at South Dole High School. We're going to shift gears. We're running a little bit short on time, so we're going to shift gears now and hear from one of the students who's had the benefit of taking Mr. Bryant's class, and I think also working through the ACE program with Ms. Knapp in a capacity there as well. So we're now going to hear from Mason Chandler. Mason, are you there?
Yes, sir.
So Mason, tell us a little bit about yourself. When you'll graduate, what plans do you have coming up for your future?
Right now, I'm a senior, so I'll be going off to college next year. I'm going to Johnson University to play baseball. But, so, yeah.
Can you tell us about how you got involved with Mr. Bryant's class and what sorts of things have you learned?
Coming in as an incoming freshman, I was filling out my class sheet, and I noticed the class, the architectural engineering design class, and it caught my eye. I didn't really know much about it. I knew Coach Bryant from football, but I didn't really know what the class was about, but it really intrigued me. So I was like, you know what, let's sign up for it. And as of now, I'm in the third class, which is the highest class that Coach Bryant teaches. Right now, we're working on the metal signs like he showed, and we're working on designing a 3D printed object that we can do like engines and stuff like that to actually make those 3D printed objects work.
That sounds like a lot of fun. So what's your favorite part about this class?
For me, really, it's just being able to communicate with everybody and being able to actually be a leader. That's what this class really mainly taught me, is to be a better leader and be able to communicate with others and be able to, like Coach Bryant said, use our hands and be able to actually do things and see things actually come to life.
You may reference a couple of these points, but as you think about what you are learning in Mr. Bryant's class, how do you think these skills and these habits you're learning are going to help you in your future?
For me, I'm going to end up going into the physical therapy field, and with being able to use my hands now, I'll be able to do that a lot better down the road. But learning those skills at such a young age, it's going to help me progress in those skills and be able to get better at them as I get older.
All right, Mason, so you're a senior in high school, you're getting ready to graduate. The folks in the audience today are primarily going to be 8th grade students. So if you were going to give one piece of advice to 8th grade students who are thinking about high school and getting ready to make that move next year, what would it be?
Don't be afraid to step outside your comfort zone and take classes that you don't necessarily know a lot about. Be able to expand your categories and be able to understand that there's going to be some classes that you don't know a lot about, but don't be afraid to take those classes because of that.
That's great. I think that's good advice for our 8th graders to hear. So we've got a few questions from the audience. Thank you, Mason. I appreciate your time this morning. We've got a few questions from the audience. I think I'll go back to Mr. Bryant for this first question because, again, you touched on it a little bit when you talked about the sign business, but somebody wanted to know if you could mention a little bit more about the welding experience and opportunities at South Doyle, as well as the other career paths that are available.
Absolutely. Here at South Doyle, we do have welding, we have building trades, we have culinary, we have medical. It's unbelievable how many opportunities you guys have. For the welding part, when we take stuff over to the welding class, they'll sit there and clean it up and cut the metal, and we'll have pieces that we may have to weld on for the signs and things like that. There are so many opportunities. We have people that bring stuff into us all the time. We've worked on a senator's truck one time. We've worked on the police vehicles before. People want to bring stuff to the schools to work on, and we have the opportunity to work on anything and everything here at this school. There's so many opportunities, with any kind of idea you have. And like Mason said, don't be afraid to pick some of those classes. And once you get in those classes, you may love them. And if you don't love them, then they're going to teach you anything that'll make you better for any other class. To be honest with you, we're going to teach you trades, and we're going to teach you things that push you along to help you problem solve other classes.
So, Mr. Bryant, another student wanted to know, would you be able to make logos for certain companies?
Oh, that's a great question. We get actually, we've gotten emails from all over the country. We've gotten emails from Canada, Australia. We've gotten stuff from everywhere. We don't ship. We make them come in and pick it up. But things we've done, we've done the football helmet, and we did the logo for the football helmet. These are just some rough things. We haven't polished them up or shined them or anything, but we've done cars. People want to draw cars. We let these students design what they want to design, and let them pick out signs they want to draw. We do logos for businesses. We do a church came in, wanted a sign for because they were going to virtual church, and they wanted a sign for their set. And we made a nice, beautiful sign for them. They put lights behind it, and every time they have church, it's sitting there right there in the middle, and so we've had people come in from businesses all over wanting to ask us if we can make a metal sign for them. So yeah, it's been a great, people all from all over wanting everything.
I think you've had more requests for work than you can handle at sometimes, haven't you?
We've got to teach sometime.
That's right.
Teach sometime.
That's right. We're about out of time, Mr. Bryant. We really want to thank you, Kara, and Mason for your time this morning. Any final thoughts that you'd like to share before we wrap things up?
Yeah, first of all, Mr. Wilson, Dr. Wilson here, he's been phenomenal. He is in charge of the entire county, and he is absolutely just taken this and just ran with it. He's done a great job. You're not going to find a better administrator than him over this program. He's looking out for you as a student. He wants you to be successful when you graduate. It's not just through your time in high school. He's looking at the time after high school. And so we're just trying to get you guys from a CTE standpoint. Hey, here's what we're offering. Here's some of the things you need to look at, and we're trying to help you make money. And somebody asked about money. We're talking maybe 6 figures here. And so we want you guys to be successful. But Dr. Wilson has done just a phenomenal job putting this together for you guys, that you guys will be informed to try to help you better think about your future. I know it's your eighth grade, or we're just thinking about next weekend, but hey, start trying to sit here and say, listen, we've got some classes for you. This is going to help you.
Thank you, Jeff. That's very kind of you, and it's taken a lot of hands, a lot of educators and students to pull off an event like this week. But I appreciate you saying that. It's 9 o'clock. We're going to wrap things up for this morning. Thank you again to our guest, and thank you for tuning in.